We are going to take this rock-hard, nutrient-deficient clay and transform it into a rich, dark, moisture-holding sponge, and we are going to do the entire process in less than 60 minutes. This isn't about digging, breaking your back with a rototiller, or buying expensive chemical fertilizers that destroy your ecosystem. This is about biomimicry. We are going to replicate the forest floor's natural cycle to create what I call black gold. By the end of this video, you will have the exact step-by-step layering recipe that turns a dead winter bed into a thriving, worm-filled organic oasis ready for planting. You will understand how to harness the invisible power of fungal networks to do the heavy lifting for you, all before you even take off your winter coat. The first step in this 1-hour transformation requires you to unlearn everything you think you know about preparing a bed, because we are absolutely not going to dig. If you take a shovel to wet, winter soil, you destroy the fungal networks that act as the internet of the soil, transporting nutrients and water. Tilling is like a tornado tearing through a city. It shatters the soil structure and releases stored carbon into the atmosphere. Instead, we are simply going to clear the surface of large debris. I am walking over to the bed and removing only the large sticks and rocks that would interrupt our layering process. But I am leaving the small dead leaves and even the tiny weeds right where they are. Those small organic materials are about to become food for the worms we are inviting in. By not tilling, we preserve the air pockets in the soil that our future plant roots need to breathe. Now we lay down our foundation, often called the kill layer, which serves two critical functions: suppressing weeds and creating a habitat for earthworms. I am taking plain brown cardboard and shingling it over the entire surface of the bed so that no soil is visible. It is vital that you remove all plastic tape and glossy shipping labels before you do this. Those synthetic materials will not break down and will leave microplastics in your food source, which defeats the purpose of organic gardening. This cardboard barrier blocks the sunlight, immediately terminating any weed seeds waiting to germinate, but more importantly, it creates a dark, humid environment underneath. Earthworms are attracted to the starch-based glues in the cardboard, and they will migrate up from the deep subsoil to feed, aerating your hard winter clay for you without you ever lifting a shovel. A common mistake beginners make here is leaving small gaps between the cardboard sheets. Nature is relentless, and invasive weeds like crabgrass or bindweed will find those pinhole slivers of light and push through, ruining your new bed. You must overlap the edges of your cardboard by at least 6 inches to create an impenetrable shield. Think of this as roofing your soil. If the shingles don't overlap, the house leaks. In our case, the leak is sunlight that fuels weeds. By creating this solid carbon roof, we force the decomposition process to happen in the dark, which favors the beneficial fungi we want to cultivate, rather than the bacterial dominance that often comes with tilling. With our carbon barrier in place, we need to add the fuel that will cook this mixture down into soil: nitrogen. I am spreading a thick 2-inch layer of composted manure directly on top of the cardboard. You could also use fresh kitchen scraps, coffee grounds, or green grass clippings if you have them. But manure is perfect for winter because it is biologically active. This layer is the green to our cardboard brown, and this balance is critical. If you were to skip this step and just pile leaves on cardboard, the decomposition would take years because there is no energy source. The nitrogen in the manure signals bacteria to start multiplying rapidly. As they consume the material, they generate heat, thermal energy that keeps the soil biology awake even when the air temperature drops below freezing. This heat helps to soften the cardboard underneath and accelerates the breakdown process. However, you must be careful not to make this nitrogen layer too thick. If you pile on 6 inches of heavy wet grass clippings or fresh manure, you will create an anaerobic environment, meaning one without oxygen. Instead of rich, sweet-smelling soil, you will end up with a slimy, stinking mat of rot that produces alcohol and ammonia, which are toxic to plant roots. We want aerobic decomposition, which requires oxygen to flow through the pile. That is why we stick to a manageable 1 to 2 inch layer of nitrogen. This provides enough fuel to start the fire of decomposition, but keeps the pile airy enough for the good microbes to breathe. Think of this layer as the protein shake for your garden. It provides the raw energy, but it needs to be balanced with fiber. The nitrogen layer is powerful, but if we leave it exposed to the harsh winter wind and snow, the nutrients will vaporize or wash away, so we need to put a roof on our house. I am adding 4 to 6 inches of straw, shredded leaves, or wood chips on top of the manure. This is the carbon sponge. This thick, fluffy layer acts as insulation, trapping the heat generated by the nitrogen layer below and keeping the soil surface unfrozen for longer periods. This allows the worms to work comfortably right near the surface for weeks longer than they usually would. But biologically, this layer is for the fungi. While bacteria love the manure, fungi love this woody, carbon-rich material. Over the next few months, fungal hyphae will thread through this straw, breaking it down into humus, the stable, dark organic matter that holds water during the droughts of July and August. This is where the real magic of clay busting happens, and it's happening at a microscopic level. As the fungi and bacteria consume these layers, they excrete sticky substances called glomalin and polysaccharides. These act like biological superglue. In your heavy clay soil, these glues bind the tiny dust-like clay particles together into larger granules or aggregates. This transforms your soil structure from a solid block of concrete into a jar of marbles. Between those marbles, you get pore space, room for air to flow and water to drain. By layering these materials on top, we are feeding the microbes that manufacture the glue that fixes your clay. We aren't manually breaking the clay. We are hiring billions of microscopic workers to restructure it for us. We have built the structure, but right now it is just a stack of dry materials. To turn it into soil, we must add the catalyst, which is water. I am thoroughly soaking the entire bed with a hose until I can see water trickling through the straw and wetting the cardboard at the bottom. This step is non-negotiable. The moisture softens the cardboard so roots can eventually punch through it, and it activates the microbes in the manure. Without water, this pile will sit dormant and mummified until spring rains come, but by adding water now, we start the decomposition clock immediately. We are essentially creating a slow-motion compost pile, right where the plants will grow, composting in place so that zero nutrients are lost in transport. This entire process took us less than an hour, but the real work happens while you are back inside drinking hot cocoa. Over the remaining winter months, the snow and rain will continue to mash these layers down. The worms will rise up to eat the softened cardboard, tunneling through your hard clay and leaving behind nutrient-rich castings. They effectively till the soil for you, mixing the organic matter from the top down into the subsoil. When you come back in the spring and pull back that top layer of straw, you won't find hard, gray clay anymore. You will find dark, crumbly, chocolate cake soil that smells sweet and earthy. It will be teeming with life and ready to grow the biggest harvest you have ever seen, with zero weeds to battle. To recap, don't dig your winter soil and destroy its structure. Cover it with cardboard to stop weeds and attract worms, add a nitrogen layer like manure to fuel the bacterial heat, top it with a carbon blanket like straw to insulate and feed the fungi, and soak it all with water to activate the biological glues that fix your clay. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to give us a like, and if you learned something new, subscribe to Grow Green and Live Clean for more organic gardening secrets, and leave a comment below telling me what you are planning to grow this year.